The world is not a kind place. It doesn't hand out redemption slips or offer solace to those who crumble under its weight. It's raw, unfiltered chaos, tearing at the seams of anyone who dares to dream beyond their means. Life doesn't care about your tears, your scars, or the nights you spent screaming into the void. And yet, here you are, standing, breathing, defying the crushing weight of it all. You've been there, haven't you? In the silence of your room, the shadows creeping closer, whispering doubts into your ear. You've faced the relentless hammer of failure, the icy grip of despair wrapping around your soul. People have left. Promises have been broken. And through it all, you've carried wounds no one else can see. Wounds that bleed memories of betrayal, rejection, and loss. But here's the thing: the pain didn't break you. It forgid you. You became the fire that consumed your weakness, the storm that silenced your fears, the darkness that tried to swallow you whole. You turned it into your armor. Each scar on your body, every tear you've shed, is a testament to your resilience. They're proof that you've walked through the inferno and emerged stronger, sharper, and more determined than ever before. It's easy to give up, to sink into the comfort of nothingness and let the world win. But giving up isn't in your nature, is it? You're a fighter, a rebel. You've stared into the abyss and laughed because the abyss couldn't scare you anymore. You've seen the worst this life has to offer, and yet you've refused to bow. That's your power. That's what sets you apart. The world will never understand you fully. They'll see the surface, the calm exterior you present, and think they know your story. But they don't know the battles you've fought in silence, the wars waged within your mind. They don't know the weight you've carried, the nights you've spent wondering if you'll ever find peace. And maybe that's okay, because your strength isn't meant to be understood. It's meant to be felt, to be feared. Every step you take forward, every breath you draw, is an act of defiance, a rebellion against the odds that tried to crush you. You don't just survive, you conquer. You don't just endure, you thrive. And as the world watches, waiting for you to falter, you rise higher, fueled by a fire they'll never understand. They've underestimated you. They've doubted you. But they've forgotten one crucial thing: you're unstoppable. You're a force of nature, an unyielding storm that tears through doubt, fear, and failure. They've thrown their worst at you, and yet here you stand unbroken, unshaken. The pain you've endured, the darkness you've faced, they've shaped you into something extraordinary, something terrifying. Because now, you're not just surviving, you're thriving in spite of it all. And there's nothing more dangerous than someone who's turned their pain into power. You've learned to find beauty in the chaos, to dance in the storm. You've found strength in your scars and purpose in your struggles. And that, above all, is what makes you invincible. The world may try to break you, but it will never succeed, because you're not just fighting for survival anymore. You're fighting to become unstoppable. Let them doubt you. Let them mock you. Their opinions mean nothing. They don't know the fire that burns within you, the unrelenting determination that drives you forward. You are more than your pain, more than your past. You are a force to be reckoned with. And as long as you're breathing, you'll keep pushing, keep fighting, keep rising. So stand tall, hold your head high, embrace the darkness, the chaos, the uncertainty. They're not your enemies, they're your allies. They've made you stronger, fiercer, and more unstoppable than ever. And as the world watches, they'll see what you've always known. You are a survivor, a warrior, a conqueror. Your journey isn't over. It's just beginning. The scars you carry are your battle wounds, the proof that you've fought and won. And as you move forward, remember this: the world doesn't define you. Your pain doesn't define you. You define yourself. You're the author of your story, the creator of your destiny. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand in your way. As the storm inside the mind grows wilder, a certain clarity emerges. A cruel, biting clarity. It's the understanding that no one is coming to save you, that every step forward is yours to take. No matter how heavy the weight or how dark the road. The echoes of past failures grow quieter, replaced by the singular rhythm of resolve. You are the only constant in this chaotic existence, the one thread that weaves through every chapter of your story. The world may burn, but you are the fire starter, the one who decides whether the flames consume or illuminate. The shadows, once overwhelming, become a second skin, familiar and oddly comforting. There's a strange beauty in the darkness, a raw honesty that daylight often obscures. In this abyss, there's no pretense, no masks, only the unvarnished truth of who you are and what you're willing to become. The pain, the struggle, the relentless ache. They are not curses, but crucibles, forging something unbreakable. And yet, amidst the chaos, there's a quiet voice. It whispers not of despair, but of defiance, not of surrender, but of transformation. The scars that mark your soul are not signs of weakness, but badges of survival, proof that you've faced the worst and are still standing. Each wound is a lesson, each tear a testament to your humanity and your strength. The people who doubted you, the voices that tried to drown you, they are nothing more than noise. Their opinions hold no power unless you grant it. The only voice that matters is your own, the one that says, keep going. And so you do. Step by step, breath by breath, you move forward. The journey is not about reaching a destination, but about becoming the person who can walk this path with head held high, no matter how treacherous the terrain. The night is long, but it is not eternal. Somewhere beyond the horizon, a faint light flickers. It is not the dawn, not yet, but is enough, a reminder that even in the deepest darkness, hope persists. It is not a gift, but a choice, a decision to see the possibility of something better, even when all evidence suggests otherwise. You are not defined by the battles you've lost, but by the wars you continue to fight. The world doesn't owe you anything, and it never will. But that's the beauty of it. You owe nothing in return. You are free to create, to destroy, to rebuild as you see fit. This life is yours to shape, not according to anyone else's blueprint, your own. And so you rise, not because it is easy or because you are fearless, but because you must. Because to stay down is to let the darkness win, and you are not here to surrender. You are here to conquer, to carve out a space in this chaotic world where you can stand tall and unshaken. The journey continues, relentless and unforgiving, but so do you. The shadows may follow, the scars may remain, but they are not chains. They are reminders of how far you've come and how much further you can go. The fire within burns brighter, not to destroy, but to illuminate the path ahead. And as you take each step, you realize that the darkness was never the enemy. It was a mirror reflecting your deepest fears and your greatest strength. It was a teacher, harsh but necessary, showing you the depth of your resilience and the boundlessness of your will. In embracing it, you have not succumbed but transcended, turning the very thing that sought to break you into the foundation of your strength. The storm still rages, but it no longer consumes you. You are the eye of the hurricane, calm amidst the chaos, unshakable in your resolve. This is not the end, it is only the beginning. The road ahead is long, but it is yours, and that is enough. You are enough. The sun had long disappeared behind the horizon, but the world had not yet embraced the tranquility of the night. Instead, it simmered with an eerie energy, as though even the shadows were restless. You walked among them, each step a deliberate act of defiance against the pull of despair. The air was heavy, almost tangible, pressing against your chest with every breath. Yet you moved forward, driven not by hope but by a raw, unrelenting will. You knew the world wasn't waiting to save you. It never had. The stories of heroes, of redemption, of second chances, they were written for others, not for people like you. You had seen too much, lost too much, and somewhere along the way, you stopped believing in happy endings. But there was a peculiar power in that realization. When you stopped expecting salvation, you became your own savior. Every scar on your body, every ache in your soul was a testament to battles fought and survived. They weren't marks of weakness. They were badges of resilience. You carried them proudly, a map of pain and perseverance etched into your very being. The world had thrown its worst at you, and yet here you were, standing, breathing, defying. People often talked about finding light in the darkness, as though darkness itself was an enemy to be vanquished. But you knew better. You learned to embrace it, to see its depth and complexity. The darkness wasn't a void. It was a mirror reflecting truths that the light was too afraid to reveal. It showed you who you really were, stripped of pretense and facade. And in that brutal honesty, you found strength. You weren't searching for peace anymore. Peace was a luxury for those who hadn't tasted chaos. What you sought was something far more potent. Purpose. Not the kind of purpose that came wrapped in ribbons and praised by society, but the kind that burned like fire in your veins. The kind that made you unstoppable, unyielding, and unafraid of what lay ahead. The streets seemed endless, stretching into oblivion. Each step you took echoed, with the weight of every choice you had ever made. Regret was a companion now, not an enemy, sitting quietly in the corners of your mind, whispering truths you wished you could ignore. But regret wasn't a weakness. It was a reminder of the life you had lived. Imperfect, broken, but undeniably real. People talked about letting go, about forgiving yourself, as though it were some magical cure to the aching void inside. But forgiveness wasn't your answer. Forgiveness was for those who needed absolution. You didn't want to forget the mistakes, the pain, or the guilt. Those were the things that kept you alive, sharp, and unwilling to repeat the past. You carried your guilt like a torch, lighting the path forward in the dimmest of times. You couldn't count the number of times you had stood on the edge of something. Fear, love, despair, or even madness. The abyss had stared back at you more than once, daring you to take that final step, but you never did. You stood there, breathing in the chaos, and found beauty in the brink. That edge wasn't your end, it was your proving ground. Memories had a funny way of resurfacing, uninvited and relentless. They came in waves, some soft and nostalgic, others sharp and merciless. The faces of those you had loved and lost. The sound of laughter now silenced, the warmth of moments that could never be relived. It wasn't just sorrow that accompanied those memories. It was a deep, patching gratitude. Because even in their absence, they were a part of you, woven into the fabric of who you had become. The world had its own rhythm, its own relentless march. Uncaring of those who fell behind, you used to wonder if you could keep up, if you were strong enough to match its pace. But now you understood, matching the world's rhythm wasn't the point. You had created your own beat, your own tempo, one that resonated with every scar, every triumph, and every failure. It wasn't about keeping up, it was about staying true to yourself.